Okay, Kyle, let's do the president does the State of the Union. The governor does the State of the State. Let's do the State of the Conference. Okay, as we wrap up the 2017-2018 season, the State of the American Athletic Conference. What do we say? Obviously, it's tough. The season ends with losses for every good team except the number one, okay? Because that's the nature of a single elimination bracket. If you didn't win the championship and you ended with a win, congratulations on your NIT banner coming. Or
hey, that's an honor.
Or you didn't even make it. So congratulations on that too. You didn't even make your conference tournament then. Yikes. So in some sense, it's a good thing to end with a loss. That's too much.
No.
But give us this, and so the good American athletic teams are already out and have already lost. But let's recap this season for the conference. The first time Wichita State was in, what did you see?
I saw a conference that is cursed.
Yikes! Yikes!
I think when the Catholic schools left the Big East and joined the new Big East, they put some sort of curse on this conference.
So we're blaming the Pope. Okay, didn't see that coming.
You had three great teams in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Shockers went out in the first game.
In the first round.
Houston and Cincinnati won their first games, thankfully.
Yeah.
But then they both blew it late in the second ones and both lost. And so you had those three teams go out. You had teams like SCU and UCF that probably would have made it if they hadn't been injured.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just throwing out this curse idea. I'd say we need to look into it, find out if there's any way to repeal this curse for next season.
Did anyone park on an Indian burial ground? What happened? No, it was a season of underachieving, especially for the top programs. Yeah. And especially the way, I hate to point it out for our Cougar friends, but the way Houston lost with a buzzer beater in Wichita. It was the last game, the late game, and Michigan got that buzzer beater with 3-point-something seconds left. They went the length of the floor and threw up a prayer and hit it. And poor Cincinnati, poor man bun, poor Houston.
Yeah.
With Rob Gray, man. And those, again, they're quality programs. It is difficult for me. You do a good job of this. It's difficult for me to be a Shockers fan and be cheering against Cincinnati and Houston the whole season because I want to beat them.
Right.
But then to turn around then in the NCAA tournament and cheer for them. I know in my mind that's the right thing to do to make the conference look good, but it's tough for me to look at Cincinnati and say, go do a good job, Bearcats. But that's the right thing to do, right?
It is, yes.
Okay.
And that's what made it so difficult for me because in the non-conference, I was cheering for all of these American schools.
And I get it.
They
that
played
makes
well.
Sense.
And then in the the postseason, NCAA tournament, I was all aboard the Houston train. I was wearing my red shirt in Interest Bank Arena.
Oh, wow.
And so when one Houston player missed 2 free throws at the end of the game,
make your free throws.
If you make one, the worst thing you do is go to overtime. You make both, you win.
Yeah.
And the poor guy just couldn't make either. And so that was tough. But for me, it was easy to put aside the American rivalries, so to speak, and root for Cincinnati and Houston. But now that Cincinnati lost, I'm kind of like, ha.
Okay. What that means, though, is not for Cincinnati, but what that means is for a league that for a conference that maybe underachieved a little bit, there's some coaching changes. Okay.
Yes.
So what are we seeing on that front?
Well, there's going to be at least 3 changes in the conference. Mm-hmm. East Carolina is still looking for a head coach.
They're
passing out flyers on the street.
Anybody?
I haven't found any takers.
Yikes.
UConn, as of this recording, hasn't yet found a head coach. They're trying hard to land Dan Hurley from Rhode Island, and they might be able to, but reports are Pittsburgh threw out an offer of $3 million a year, and so we'll see who UConn can land.
That's the hard part is UConn's expectations are here.
Yep.
And where they're at as a program right now is somewhere down here, and it's low. So you go in expecting to get here, expecting to win. That's going to be a tough job for anybody to say, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take those expectations. But okay.
Yeah. So I think UConn still has a lot to offer. They have won 4 national championships.
They do. It's a basketball
They're
town.
in the, we can say, 6th or 7th best conference. And so we'll see what UConn does. Memphis got rid of Tubby. Hired Penny Hardaway. And as someone who's a fan of this conference, I think it's a home run hire. As you saw in the first day that Penny took over, he was able to steal Alex Lomax from us at Wichita State. And there's talks that all these talented Memphis kids that are 4- and 5-star players are now wanting to play for Penny and possibly go to Memphis.
Memphis is such a basketball town anyway, and so I could see that. Although for me, as a guy who grew up in the 80s and 90s, when I hear Penny Hardaway, I picture little Penny from the commercials, and this is Penny Hardaway and this little puppet guy who was mini Penny kind of thing. And it's tough to take him seriously as an NCAA Division I coach. I know he has as good of credentials as you can have without having previously been a college coach. But that's to take over a D1 program from
risk.
AAU. I don't know that is the perfectly smooth transition, or if he's set up to succeed there. He has the connections for recruiting, but does he have? And he's got a basketball mind as a former NBA player, but does he have the coaching mind? That's the question. And the only way you'll find out is when they start playing ball. But can he make in-game adjustments? Can he do the things necessary to win a basketball game from a strategic level, from a game plan level? In the AAU's great, I guess. I don't love it because it's just a bunch of showcasing, and that is not college basketball. There is some showcasing in college basketball with your one and dones, but it is not just get the ball to a player and let him score 30 and impress the scouts. College basketball is so different from that, so that's going to be a change from AAU.
And I want to point something out because I think you might be slightly incorrect on this.
Okay.
He does have an AAU team.
Okay.
But I don't think he's the coach.
He's the gotcha.
I believe
so he's overseeing the
well,
program.
I believe he's the coach of this Memphis East high school team.
Gotcha.
And so
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I believe he's the high school coach, and for AAU, he's just kind of his name is on the jerseys, and he's like their sponsor.
Gotcha. I see.
I think there's a little bit more in coaching involved in high school than AAU. Maybe
there is, but Division One to go high school to Division One.
It's a big step up for him. I think it'll be interesting to see who he can fill his staff with, because there's still talk that Larry Brown, the longtime head coach at many colleges, including SMU, could be on his staff.
Okay.
So if he could land Larry Brown, that would help him out tremendously.
That would fill his weaknesses.
To add,
I think.
add a pedigree like that. But yeah, it is a risk for Memphis, but how far that program has fallen in 2-3 years with attendance, fan interest, and just performance on the court, I think this was a move that they had to make, and I think it'll work out.
Okay, we will see. Does this put? So right now it's Cincinnati, Wichita State, Houston. Is Memphis into that category now or not yet?
I think we'll have to see what other recruits they can land for this next year. But if we talk about kind of the big picture for the American and the top programs now, like you said, Wichita State, Cincinnati, Houston, SMU is still going to be right there. UCF is coming up strong. Tulane's on the upswing, and if you get Temple a little bit better, and then UConn and Memphis back to where they have been, I mean, you have what is that, eight solid programs, 9 programs, and so I really see the potential with this conference, and I think it's only going to get better.
Hey, that's it. That's the state of the conference. Very good. Thank you, Commissioner, for giving us
Assistant Commissioner.
Assistant to the Commissioner. Thank you for that. Hey, we're in the off season now, so we're going to keep doing episodes. We're going to keep doing this because there's a lot to talk about.
Whether you like them or not.
Whether you're ready. But here's what I want. What should we be talking about? What do you want to know? What questions do you have for us? What topics? I would like to do something like, I would like to predict what the starting 5 is going to be for the Shockers next year, which is super early to do that, but let's have some fun with it. Those kinds of things. What should we be talking about when it comes to Wichita State basketball, American Athletic Conference, anything in between? Hit us up, shockerland.com, at Shockerland on Twitter, and our Shockerland Facebook page. Thank you for joining us on Shockerland.